What's up, my geeks? Jeffrey Powers from Geekazine. Today we're taking a look at this. This is the Colabox L2 Plus Smart Media Player with Android 14. We're going to open it up. We're going to take a look at everything that it has. We're going to connect it up to the TV and give you some thoughts and pros and cons on using this box. And we're going to do that next on Geekazine. What's up, my geeks? Jeffrey Powers from Geekazine. Think magazine, put in a geek. Now, our friends over at Colabox did send me this unit right here, and of course, they are sponsoring this video, but all opinions are of my own. You can find out all my review information over at geekazine.com/review right down below. You could also be a part of the process, and I'd appreciate it much if you go over to patreon.com/geekazine and check that out. Plans as little as $1 a month help keep the lights on. And of course, if you want to send a one-time tip, that's over at venmo.com/geekazine. Before we get started, I want to address the elephant in the room, and that is with these Android TV boxes like the Colabox. Now, the one thing I really do like about this box, it has Android 14, and with that, a more updated security profile that comes with this box. There has been a lot of review, a lot of people talking about this box being bad. In fact, some of the boxes that I reviewed, I got some comments basically saying, why are you reviewing a box that could cause security issues inside my home? Well, the reality is this box, there is absolutely nothing wrong with. There's nothing inside hardware-wise that's going to do any type of spying on you. But this is an Android TV box that allows you to sideload apps. And when you sideload an app, that means that could come with some issues. Highly suggest that you research each app that you put onto this box before you put it on. There are a few apps that I like to use that I have to sideload on. These are apps I've actually created. So a box like this is perfect for that type of stuff because you don't have to find workarounds or jailbreaks or anything like that to use this box. And now with what's called vibe coding, you can actually go into a ChatGPT, a Gemini, or a Claude and say, hey, write me an app for this Android box that does what you need it to do. But bottom line is this box right here is a safe piece of hardware that you can install into your system, turn it off when you're not using it, actually unplug it when you're not using it. But this box is very useful for those of us who really need to have an Android TV experience that will let us bring in apps that we're working on. Enough said about that. These are all the warnings. And what we're going to do is, like I said, we're going to unbox it. We're going to take a first look. We're going to hook it up to a TV. We're going to make sure that everything is legit here. And then, of course, we'll show you a couple of the apps that you can get with the Colabox, and then I'll give you my final thoughts. Let's start with simply the unboxing of the Colabox. That's always fun. There we go. Inside here, we have the unit itself, which we will set to the side, a small box that we'll put here, and of course a multitude of cords. This is an HDMI to HDMI cord right here. Then we have the power plug. It is not USB-C powered. It is powered through here. 12 volt 1 amp plug. Then, of course, we have the remote control, which will most likely take a couple AAA batteries, and then the user guide down below. So the Colabox, this is the L2 Plus. It's an Android 14 box featuring a quad-core ARM Cortex A55 processor, Mali 450 GPU, 4 gigabytes of RAM, and 64 gigabytes of storage. And, of course, it can do 4K streaming. It's got dual-band Wi-Fi, 2.4 and 5 gigahertz, and it's got Bluetooth 5.0 and Ethernet of 1 gig inside of here. We're going to start from left to right. We have the antennas. These are pretty decent antennas. I don't know if they can detach. Doesn't look like they can detach. So fairly thick antennas. I don't know what the dB is on them, but it's meant for 2.4 gigahertz or 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi. We've got an optical port right here. We've got the AV 3.5 millimeter jack right here. Our HD will go right here, and underneath it is our TF card, or a micro SD card if you call it that. 2 USB-A ports. I think we might have a reset button in there. The 1 gig Ethernet, and of course the power to the unit. Nothing on the side, nothing on the front, although we will probably have a display right here. Nothing on this side, and nothing on the bottom, of course, except for some vents, which, of course, you don't want to block at all. Let's take a look at this a little bit deeper by opening it up. Now, first of all, we're going to void the warranty. That's okay. We're going to take out the screws. Take the screws out of here. They're just basically underneath the rubber feet. We'll be very careful in popping this open because I don't know how it opens just yet. There's 2, there's 3, and 4. All right, there we go. Let's see, how can we open this up? Plate comes right off. Perfect. There's the box right there. 2 PCB boards. The first one is what is doing the display in the front, and then this one is got the probably all the information in there. We got a couple screws here and here. Let's go ahead and take those out, and that comes out like so. We should be able to flip this around. I might have to, yeah. Let's take out this. This is the front display. There we go. And then we'll have a better chance at that. This black white wire, this is the antennas. There, like I said, there's 2 Wi-Fi's, a 2.4 gigahertz and a 5 gigahertz. So we don't want to mess with that too much. And what do we got here? Once again, this is all probably the processor underneath here, which is underneath the set thermal plate. We're going to pop this off right here. Okay, we popped those cases off. On the other side, we'll start with this side first. There was a case right here, but as you can see, it's just covering the circuits right here, most likely keep them from getting damaged. Let's take a look at this side. We'll start with this one right here. This is basically the Wi-Fi chip. Then we have the systems on a chip. So I don't want to mess with that little wire too much, but that's the ARM Cortex A55 and the Mali 450 graphics CPU GPU. Right here, we have the memory. This is where the 4 gigabytes of RAM and the 64 gigabytes of storage are in. And then right here, this is basically a integrated circuit. So this will control the Ethernet, the USB ports, the HDMI port, all that other stuff. Then we have a series of capacitors on here that are just keeping power on the unit. This plug up here is powering that LCD display. This plug right here, I'm not sure what that is, but I'm guessing down the line, something could be added to this board. And as you can see, there are many different openings inside this, this board that are not being used, maybe for future updates. So that is what is inside of this unit. I don't see anything that could bring any type of question. And of course, snapping these little cases back on was fairly straightforward. Let's go ahead and put the screws back in. And then next thing we're going to do is we're going to power this up and see what we've got on the box. I got it now set up to here. Let's go ahead and plug it in. And when we plug it in, we instantly got, it says boot on here. We see the Colabox logo on, this is a KYY portable monitor, but we've got the Android TV box loading up here. We're going to probably have to pair the remote, and I can connect up a keyboard and mouse, which I'll do a little bit later. We've got to pair the remote. So it says bring the remote within 30 centimeters of the device, press and hold the home and back buttons. That's these 2 buttons right here. It said Ethernet is not connected up there, but it did say paired success. So now we have, it should be a Bluetooth remote. So I shouldn't have to directly point this at the box. So it's asking for the English or language, and I press that. Yeah, it looks good. What's our time zone? I'm in the Central Time Zone. So I'll change that. And then it's going to ask for network setup, which I'm going to do right now through the wireless through a secondary Wi-Fi. Now the network is connected, so we can go ahead and hit next. It's saying set your display area. We can set it up or skip. Let's see what we got here. That looks pretty good. Back key to exit, so we'll say skip. And then, of course, all the disclaimers. And then we can customize our home screen. The updates happened, and we are now on the Android box. We can see the Colabox logo up on the left-hand corner. Looks pretty straight and professional and nice and clean. I don't see any ads on here, which is a good thing, but we'll see what happens. Sometimes it might take a little while for them to populate, but this is what you see when you connect up to your Colabox. We have a sidebar, which will go away, where we can get our favorite apps, our recommendations, our apps, and our settings. If we push that just basically to the right, that takes us to the main screen, where we have our favorite apps, stuff we can put in there. We got the recommended stuff, and then we got the apps. Right now, there's only technically 3 apps uninstalled: the VOD Plus, the Live Plus, and of course the Google Play Store, which you will have to log in to. What's interesting, and I'm not sure about Android 14, I would figure that they would have some sort of QR code to scan in so you can log in a more secure way. But in this case, it's asking for a username and a password right from the device. I'm not sure if there's a way that we can have it to have your phone log into here. And I can just show you that right now. So as you can see, it's asking for a username, password. You can create account. You can choose forgot email, but there is no scan with a QR code or anything like that. Now you can connect up a keyboard and a mouse if you want to type it all in there. That makes it a lot easier than going through this remote, which, by the way, this remote is not too bad. It's actually a pretty nice remote from what I've seen with some of these other boxes. Doesn't feel like a 3D printed one. We got more than enough buttons on here. We got the Google Play experience. This is a voice remote, so there is a microphone right up on top here. And then, of course, we have some memory buttons, which I'm pretty sure we can program in some way, shape, or form down the line. So other than that, we've got our channel up, channel down, our volume up, volume down, and mute, and then of course specific channel numbers and some multicolored buttons that probably can be programmed even more. Before we go here, let's go into see our settings. Now there's 2 ways we can do it. We can, on the remote, there's a little gear icon. We just hit that and that's going to take us to this screen right here. But we can also go down to the bottom here and go to settings and the device info. The device info will just give us the Colabox edition, because this is a Colabox branded Android TV. So we're just going to hit the gear so we can see this. This is more of the Android TV stuff here. So we got the network and internet. It's looking good. Counts and sign in. We have no accounts yet. Our apps, which of course, like I said, we have only the few that I've put in there. We got our device preferences, so we can find out the date and time, storage, sound, all that other stuff. Let's go to the about here, and it's basically telling us that we are on Android version 14, the kernel version right there, 4.9.118. That has been updated on January 15th of 2026. So it's updated for security. We're recording this in May of 2026, so we've got a pretty decent up-to-date security profile here. And there's the build of the Colabox software, which is, of course, on the Colabox. We can set our date and time, our language, our keyboard, our sound, storage. We'll look at the storage really quick. It says we have RAM of 4 gigabytes and total space of 64 gigabytes. Great. We can set up our Google Assistant. We can set up our display if we want to, HDMI auto adaptation, custom display format, all that other stuff. We can set up the advanced options, location, and reset. Let's go to the advanced options. That gives us the option to do HDR mode if we want to. It's set to auto. We can force 1.4. That's basically making the HDMI cable work at a 1.4 instead of a 2, but we will leave that at right there. HDCP, which is basically the high bandwidth digital content protection, and it's set to off right now. HDMI CEC, which allows you to connect up to multiple devices. I believe 15 devices, up to 15, something like that. That's turned off for now because we're doing one device, one cable, one device. That's it. And of course, accessory mode if we want to. All of these are turned off, which is great. We got some extra settings, which basically says auto start an app. So that means when you turn this on, it'll automatically start that app. I like that. I was telling you how I use this as a confidence monitor with some software. I can set that up in here. So when I turn it on, it instantly loads up that software. And that makes this a lot better. We can put up remotes and other accessories. It's Bluetooth 5.0, like I said. So you'll be able to connect up different items, wireless keyboards, mice, and things like that. We've got the upgrade option and then the device info, which will take us to the Colabox version of the device info, which will give us all the information. This is blurred out because it's got serial numbers and MAC addresses in there, but it's basically saying that we've got the software version of Cola 13.1.43.169 with, of course, the memory of 4 gigabytes of RAM, 64 gigabytes of storage. That's pretty much it. Let's go back into here. So we have 4 apps and none of them are technically loaded. Like for instance, if we go to Troubleshooter, that's one I haven't loaded yet. You can choose to download that and install it. If you don't want it in there, you don't have to install it. We did do the Live Plus. I already did the install of that. So now we're going to go into Live Plus to see what that does. That takes us to a screen right here. We have our notice board. And of course, some music here. So we can go into the channels and a lot more. Let's go just to this one right here. It looks like we got some Family Guy going. As you can see, we can go through different channels right here, see what we can pull up. But you can see a lot of different things that you can watch. And of course, Netflix is not installed, of course. We'll go like that, and it says we can download it. I'd highly suggest, if you want to feel really safe, go down to your Google Play Store, log in, and then download it from there rather than use this version. So there we go. We've got that's the main menu there. We'll go back to the home, and then the Google Assistant button. That was this button up here. It's basically getting the voice control. We can use the assistant without sign-in. And we can search. So now if I press this button, it'll come here. And it will start listening to what I have to say. So as I continue to talk, it's going to convert that into text and probably do absolutely nothing from there once I hit the OK button. But as you can see, it's doing its job. Let's hit OK. And I think it's, yeah, there it is searching now. And it found some interesting things, some related videos, things that you can publicly get without any login to wherever. So we got some YouTube shorts and YouTube videos. Well, that's it in a nutshell. That is Colabox software itself. We've got a lot of options here. As you can see, you can install, you can uninstall different apps as you go. And I'm going to be definitely installing some apps and using this in more production aspect rather than watching TV. Let's get into the pros and cons with this thing. The first thing, basically, it's very straightforward. I'm not sure if I care for this. If I cannot find a way to uninstall these, just get it out of the homepage, that might be a small bit of a problem. But I haven't really played with it just yet to find out if it's not a big deal, but I'd rather not be able to customize this a little bit better for what I do for it. But I do like the idea that I can download an app and then put the app into the auto start option. So when I turn this on, it instantly goes to the app. And like I said, for what I'm going to be using it for, And that's going to be perfect for this because I'll be able to turn it on, get to the app I want, and go from there. Very straightforward to plug in, install. I like the remote. The remote is nice and solid. I like the box itself that's nice and solid. We saw the inside of the box. There was no problems there. Everything looked legitimate. And the software itself is Android 14 with the latest security updates as of January of 2026. I like that a lot. A lot of these other boxes only stopped at 2021, and they can be really dangerous to use no matter what brand it is out there. So I like the updated software right there. One thing, I want to go through all the Reddit threads and find out if anybody had any type of security issues. Did not see anything on that, but once again, I am probably not going to use like the Netflix app that comes from this. I'll probably download it from the Play Store and use it that way. Other than that, you use it how you use it. Once again, this is going to be something for production more than watching TV. So I'll have it for that. But the real question is, what are you going to use it for? Let me know in the comments below over at geekazine.com, youtube.com/geekazine, where you can like, subscribe, and of course, hit that bell notification so you know when the next video comes out. That is it for me and the Colabox box. This is the L2 Plus box that's available now. You can check it out. I'll have a link in the show notes if you want to get one yourself. Let me know what you think. And of course, until next time, you guys geek out and stream on with Colabox.